Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We thank you for joining Bridging the Gap, Integrating Internal Operations and Accounting with Enterprise-Level Data, presented by Out of the Box in partnership with BuildOps. Today's presenters are Scott Larson, Partner Manager at BuildOps, and Mary Hunter, VP of Training here at Out of the Box. Born and raised near San Francisco, Scott earned his degree in political science and economics from Cal Poly. He began his career at Oracle before joining BuildOps, where he spent the past 4.5 years working with SMB to enterprise customers. Now focused on partnerships, Scott plays a key role in growing the BuildOps ecosystem. Mary has been with Out of the Box since 2006, using her decades of experience as a CPA and her deep accounting expertise to service large and small manufacturers, retailers, wholesale distributors, and healthcare providers. As VP of Training, Mary leads the accounting and data services team, ensuring the completion of projects and providing training and leadership to department members and clients. As for me, my name is Jeanette Schwartz-Rattan. I'm Director of Digital Marketing here at Out of the Box, and I'll be your moderator for the day. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. The session is being recorded, so you don't have to take notes. You'll be able to view it later on our YouTube channel and on our website. We'll share it with you via email along with the slide deck, so you can review it later, share it with colleagues, etc. We have reserved some time at the end for questions, but if there's something you want to dig a little deeper into in real time as we're covering it, feel free to chat us questions in the Q&A box, and we'll try to address those as we go through the presentation. A little bit about Out of the Box. If you haven't joined us before, maybe it's been a while. Here at Out of the Box, our mission is to empower entrepreneurs with the QuickBooks-based financial tools, services, and insights they need to thrive. Out of the Box is the premier choice for QuickBooks accounting solutions and services, boasting over 30 years of experience and a track record of exceeding the expectations of more than 50,000 satisfied clients. Our comprehensive accounting solutions save you time and money while providing you with the financial accuracy, security, and insights necessary to grow your business. As an elite QuickBooks solution provider, we are able to offer you exclusive discounts and pricing, so please be sure to connect with us before purchasing any of your Intuit QuickBooks solutions. With that, I believe I've covered all of our housekeeping items, so I'm going to hand things off to Scott so he can get us started. Scott, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction.
Welcome.
I'll share my screen here. I think this is the one I want. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, like I said, thanks for the introduction, and for those of you who don't know much about BuildOps, I'll chat through some of what we have to offer here, and with with today's topic, just talking about how businesses can really try to unify operations and back office accounting for real-time data, and efficiency. We believe that partnering with great systems and partners like Out of the Box really helps make our mutual customers run their businesses as efficiently as possible. And we're going to talk through some of the reasons that we feel that way, and also some of the examples how we've built some of that efficiency into BuildOps. So let me move on ahead here. It's all about doing more with less, making your techs more efficient. So like I said, if you're unfamiliar with BuildOps, I just wanted to share this screen here. I joined about 4.5 years ago. It was a team of about 30 people working out of a garage with under 100 or with under $1 million in revenue. Fast forward about 4.5 years later, we're over 400 employees. We've raised over $250 million and have been fortunate enough to work with some of the largest contractors in the nation. But we work with folks that have, 5 users in the field all the way up to a few thousand in the field. We definitely don't discriminate on size of contractors like we hear some of these other software companies do. If there's a way for us to help, we absolutely want to. And the biggest thing I think to call out with these shops that we've highlighted here is that they all use some form of automation to help scale their operations and run their businesses as efficiently as possible on the operations side with limited resources. So talking about integrating field and back office, software and why it's really just essential for operational efficiency. You know, it, Working and selling into the industry before I started partnerships, I would come across folks using disconnected systems all the time. And it's pretty common, folks using disparate systems, siloed information from field and back office operations. And this really leads to a lot of duplicative work, people entering data into two different systems. This, reduces your productivity and can ultimately take away from the bottom line, which I think is the goal here, is to increase, bottom line revenue at the end of the day. Everyone wants to get paid for the hard work that they're doing. We've come across folks and field teams using different softwares to input their labor and materials, and then, their back office accounting teams would just use completely different softwares to, process this information, and it just results in a lot of inefficient time wasted double entering that data. I think some of the benefits when it comes to integrating that field data with back office systems is it leads to faster and more accurate workflows. And as I mentioned, that double data entry gets completely eliminated. Integrating your systems like QuickBooks with BuildOps, it bridges that gap between field operations, thinking service and project management, which is what we offer in our system, with accounting, your QuickBooks instance, that really can result in some pretty impressive productivity gains. Some of our customers actually, when we ran some benchmarks against them, experienced productivity gains of up to 50% within, weeks or months of going live, which is nothing to bat an eye at. So when we're talking about, integrating software to help make those data-driven decision, making those or enabling that data-driven decision-making processes, having that real-time data to make proactive decisions that minimize, delays in timelines for your jobs, for your projects, it's really, really important. And you're not going to have the ability to do that unless those systems from the field to the back office are integrated. So you get those real-time reports, real-time financials, and real-time updates on the status of your jobs. This leads to increased and enhanced accuracy by integrating data analytics into your platforms like BuildOps that empowers your professionals to make your projects, or to manage your projects more efficiently, and ultimately deliver those results in a timely manner, going back to that bottom line, resulting in making that bottom line bigger for the company. Some of the ways that we've really seen this done, and some of the ways that we've done this personally in our business and in our software, is layering AI across the suite of products that we offer. I'll show a slide here in a few minutes that talks about across the board where BuildOps really leans in and helps out. But I think the message here is that AI, this technology, can really help automate repetitive tasks. Things that your folks in the back office or even in the field are spending, a couple minutes a day on, couple hours a day on. It all adds up. And if we're able to automate that for them, it allows them to think a little bit more strategically and proactively in the business, rather than spending time, being reactive and working in the business. Allows them to be forward thinking. And with this, these predictive analytics and these smart integrations, this AI is analyzing a massive amount of data in real time, and it's ultimately helping boost the efficiency across the organization and reduce the risks that you're in the jobs that your service techs are running, as well as the projects that your PMs are running. It's not just siloed to one particular area of the business. So as I mentioned, we've really built our system to be efficient at every single level across the organization. And in order to be efficient across the entire organization, you need to have the ability to scale in each of your departments. And so what we've done is built in automation with our AI to cover everything from sales, to your leadership level, to your dispatcher, to the technicians, and operations as well. And I'm going to show you guys in just a second here a couple examples of that, screenshots I've grabbed from our system that will kind of tell you and show you why it's important to have these systems in place. So on the sales side, the idea here is that your technicians are out in the field, and they're the ones that are actually catching deficiencies when they're working on the assets that they were called out to work on, and maybe they identify deficiencies or can surface recommendations on other assets that they see while they're out on the job site, right? They're marking down notes in their job summary or wherever they're marking down notes. And with our AI tool that we built into this particular section of the business or into this particular section of our platform, it will detect these potential recommendations and surface the opportunities for upsell work or easy quote recommendation creation to the back office, so your folks can ultimately push quotes out faster based on what the technicians are observing on the job site, which then in turn leads to increased revenue and ultimately higher customer satisfaction, right? Your customers aren't feeling like they're being reactive and calling you when things are breaking, but you're being proactive and taking care of them in advance. We've got on the leadership level, as I mentioned in the slide previous, our platform covers many different user types, from leadership to sales to operations. And so with it being such a large platform that it really covers all aspects of the business, one person might not be fully aware of all the functionality and data that's available within the system. Historically with other softwares out there, it took a lot of time and energy to pull reports on data, making sure the data was accurate and up to speed in order to make some efficient data-driven decision making. But with our chatbot, which we call BuildOps Wizard, you just type into the chatbot and ask, hey, what was the total revenue from last month, or what are our total outstanding jobs, and it'll immediately surface that to you. No degree needed to pull sophisticated reports, easily surface to you real time, so you can make quick, actionable decisions based on what you're seeing in front of you. Pretty nifty feature. Gotten a lot of good feedback on that one. Next up, we've got our operations persona, invoice summary generation. This is a big one. We've heard a lot of good feedback on this from the customers of our customers, actually. They love this. It makes our contractor customers seem much more professional. The idea here is that, as technicians are writing out their job summary, their invoice summary, the AI will take a summary scan of basically all the info that has been input across the job, whether it was, a single day job, a multi-week job, and really put it together in a nice, clean, professional, well-polished, error-free invoice summary. It speeds up the administrative side of the business, since you're not spending time going through each one of these invoices manually, one by one, and making sure that they're clean and grammar-free, grammar error-free, and just really allows you to push these invoices out in a timely manner, multiples on multiples per day, faster than what we were able to do before. And like I said, the customers of the contractors love them. Just makes them appear a lot more professional and cleaned up. So as I mentioned a few minutes ago, just a quick overview slide on what we have to offer across the entirety of the business. What you see here in the center are the three stools or three legs of the stool that make up BuildOps: your service, projects, and maintenance. And around that purple ring, we have layered AI into basically every single facet of our core system, as I just touched on a couple of examples prior. A lot of writing here off to the sides, but you get the idea that, through each particular facet of the business that you might need to be managed within a system, we have the ability to take care of that. Labor management, we offer time tracking, payroll integrations, and labor forecasting. When it comes to procurement and inventory, we can track your POs and status tracking. We have integrations with other great systems like Kojo. We have great integrations on our accounting and APAR side with folks like Out of the Box and QuickBooks, and through our open APIs, we can build custom integrations to basically any system out there if we don't already have a native one built. Ultimately, the idea here is that with fewer workers available across the industry, it's crucial that each team member's time is spent maximized and eliminating as many of the repetitive tasks in their day-to-day jobs as possible. The AI that we built into the system on top of just the efficient system that we've already built really maximizes this. It saves your teams from spending too much time in mundane repetitive tasks, and allows their jobs done faster, meaning they can tackle more efficient, proactive work. Like I said before, spending more time on the business rather than in the business. One last thing I wanted to touch on before I wrap up my time here is the implementation process. And the one thing I really wanted to highlight here is during your time at BuildOps, should you move forward and post a sales evaluation, you really have one point of contact for each phase that you're going through. Even during the sales evaluation phase, you have one point of contact, which is your account executive. Should you move forward with BuildOps after that point, you have one point of contact, which is your implementation manager. They will take you through this entire process, the discovery call, the invalidation of the data that you really passed along to the account executive during that sales evaluation, the configuration process or phase rather during your implementation, and then the training and validation. This is obviously going to be the most important, where you're validating the setup and training every single person in your company to use our system as efficiently as possible. It's a really white glove approach. We send folks out to your office on site should you request that. But this is a process that is largely, dependent on you and what you're comfortable with, and the timelines are set by you as well. During the go live period, you are working in tandem with your implementation and post go live customer success manager. So there's a handoff at this point from your IM to your CSM. And then in the success phase, you are, theoretically live happy, and your main point of contact is your customer success manager from there on out. But during this entire time frame, you have cell phones, you have emails, single point of contacts, no calling into a support line, getting a ticket and being told, we'll get back to you in 24 hours. We really believe that the white glove approach here is really important. That is about my time here. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting me present to y'all. I really appreciated it, and looking forward to seeing what Mary has to say.
Hi, everybody. Scott, that was great, and it was really helpful for me to see that. I've been working with BuildOps clients for probably the last 2 or 3 years, and I really, really enjoy the entire client group in our partnership. I am a QuickBooks consultant for about the last 18 years, and prior to that, I was a financial statement auditor in public accounting, so kind of not exciting and fun like the world of contracting, but I work with many, many contractors, all different sizes and shapes, and trying to get good, accurate financial reporting. So we truly love the partnership with BuildOps. We have a great working relationship. We can contact them in minutes and get answers to questions that we have, that our clients have. We help with onboarding, and we're going to talk about leveraging to scale. So the partnership with BuildOps is, we can't stress strongly enough how great it has been working, and how we've really developed that over the last few months and years. Like I said, I work with most every BuildOps client that comes through out of the box from the beginning through our data migration services, and then typically end up doing training directly with that BuildOps client once they are in QuickBooks and need to learn how to do certain things in the QuickBooks software. I love the way Scott talked about his mission. I think we both have similar missions and philosophies in terms of giving excellent client service. First and foremost, that's what we try and do as a company. And I love being associated with a company like BuildOps who has a similar philosophy. We're trying to service our clients in the best possible way from start to finish, and whatever we can do to help make that stressful migration into a new accounting platform or learning a new system, we're here to help with that. So out of the box and BuildOps, we're very similar. Out of the box, we do QuickBooks, right? BuildOps has that front end commercial contracting software. The great thing about it is the integration with QuickBooks accounting software. So we work with a lot of different industries. Me specifically, I work with many contractors, construction, accounting, electricians, plumbers, HVAC, everything, mechanical contractors. I also work with many manufacturing clients who do light assembly, inventory, and we do work with a lot of franchises. One of the things we do when we start to work with a client is learn about them, right? We're interested in you and your particular business and your business model. There's really no two businesses that are like. Many are similar. Some track inventory, some do not. Some have different locations. Some want reports a certain way. We try and learn that, understand that, recommend the correct accounting software. Both versions of QuickBooks will integrate with BuildOps, QuickBooks Enterprise, a desktop version, and QuickBooks Online. We learn and ask a lot of questions about your business and what you're looking for and how we can help solve those reporting problems and issues. And then we go over that with you and present that to you. BuildOps and QuickBooks. Scott talked about that very well in terms of eliminating dual entry. So the great thing about QuickBooks is it integrates or imports transactions from BuildOps. So I often explain to my clients that are coming to me learning about BuildOps and learning about QuickBooks is BuildOps in terms of the client data out in the field, all that work that is done for the client. BuildOps does the heavy lifting, okay? They do the work orders, they do the invoicing, they do the purchase orders and the receiving of material. QuickBooks then, I always call it, it's the catcher's mitt. So it will get that data from BuildOps and populate your accounting. Again, we make sure that the accounting in QuickBooks is set up correctly and accurately so that you get good, accurate, meaningful financial reports. The other thing that's a benefit with QuickBooks, I've been teaching QuickBooks for 18 years. It is very easy to learn. It's easy to use and it's forgiving. And one of the big benefits is it's pretty cost effective based on other platforms out in the industry these days. Onboarding and service framework. So again, like I described, we usually will start, you'll usually meet with me or another consultant and talk to you about your unique business needs in terms of accounting platforms and the usage of BuildOps. For instance, what departments do you have? Do you track inventory? If so, do you track those by locations such as trucks, multiple warehouses, multiple cities in different geographic areas? So we talk through all that. We talk about the departments. So BuildOps has a field called your department. Scott talked a little bit about things like service, maintenance, projects, all of those, and you may have more profit centers or departments. Those have to be set up a specific way in QuickBooks. So when the data imports from BuildOps, we can get good reporting of profitability by department. Payroll. Do you use an outside payroll processor? Do you want to process payroll within your accounting system? Are you currently processing payroll? Do you have prevailing wage jobs that you need certified payroll reports? So we talk about all that, define what your business needs are so that we can help you accommodate those with the software that we recommend. So once we determine what software is best for you based on your particular business model, then we can talk about and scope out what a migration of your current accounting data looks like to migrate into QuickBooks. So typically we will talk about trial balances, customer lists, vendor lists, opening accounts payable, accounts receivable, if you do project or job costing, all of those kind of employees and a payroll migration. So if you're doing payroll in your current accounting system and want to continue that in QuickBooks, we would definitely talk to you about a payroll migration versus an accounting data migration, and both. Talk about the timing, talk about your integration and your startup time, or what we call the go live date with BuildOps. And we work to plan and make sure that those are both ready when you're ready to go live with both systems. One of the important things in terms of getting good reporting in a financial accounting software like QuickBooks is we need a good chart of account structure. Sales tax, if you charge sales tax to your customers, would be set up both in QuickBooks and in BuildOps. We do services on file integrity, the class hierarchy. The class is a field in QuickBooks that would integrate and match to the department field in BuildOps so that when accounting transactions come into QuickBooks from BuildOps, they have the department already assigned to them so that we can get good reporting on the P&L. The items list, the customer list, vendors, and all accounting opening balances would be discussed and talked through in terms of bringing in your beginning balances. Again, then we will present the scope of work and talk to you about pricing and the timeline of completing that. Lists and reports that you need to supply to us to build out that accounting file, and working directly with BuildOps to make sure we meet those timing goals. One, we would look at your new system together. Our migration team ensures that we have all the data and that it's been transferred and is fully functionable. One of the things we commonly do at the beginning, we talk about training and consulting, which is a big part of what I do on a day-to-day basis. I not only explain the software, how BuildOps integrates with QuickBooks, what are the benefits of not having to double entry transactions that you have in BuildOps into QuickBooks, and one, training you how to work with the data that is integrating into QuickBooks, such as reconciling your bank account, paying your bills in QuickBooks, and recording non-job transactions such as insurance and advertising and all those other accounting tasks. Leveraging to scale. So one of the things we like to talk about is strategically using the advantages of the integration between these two systems to increase your productivity, hopefully lower costs, and potentially having higher profits. The importance of accurate financials. Okay, not very glamorous and fun. It's my bread and butter, so I could talk about it all day, and I do love it. But one, we are required to provide accurate financial information to entities. Banks, our insurance providers, investors may need mid-year accurate financials. It also protects your investment in your own business to have good, accurate, meaningful financials and done, like Scott said, in a timely fashion. You're not waiting 2-3 months to get a financial. Provides valuable information to sell your business, open a second location, or get financing on a loan, especially at that departmental level. And of course, provides information to our tax preparers, our CPAs, to properly file those tax returns for our business. Again, one of the things we do when we do those initial consults, we often talk to the entire team at a business, no matter how big or small, that's interacting with the front end or with the accounting and the back end, office managers, controllers. Very often I will have outside CPAs attend those consultations to make sure their perspectives are being handled, and we're happy to have that. Benefits of having good, accurate financial statements in QuickBooks, of course, is the ability for owners and decision makers to make those very important informed decisions based on numbers, not just guesses and hunches. Accurate indicators of measurable success. So how is this month versus last month? This month versus last year at this time? This quarter versus last quarter? So all of those things are vital information that we really pride ourselves in having accurate information for business owners to have the decision-making capability. Again, we're going to have, of course, with any accounting system, good, accurate balance sheets, income statements, cash flow statements, many other reports on various types of accounts. One of the things that BuildOps module helps us develop and present to owners. So any business, we're going to have a profit and loss with income, direct costs, and gross profit. But the benefit of setting up BuildOps and setting up QuickBooks correctly from the beginning is getting a P&L by department. So the individual job detail, as Scott explained, each job is going to have revenue and costs at the job level in BuildOps at any time that people can look at the individual job. But in QuickBooks, what we're looking at, and then Jeanette, if you could move to the next slide, is the ability to look at our profitability by department with gross profit at the literal click of a button. So this is not a difficult report to run. It literally can take seconds. We can have it memorized and just click a button and it'll be there. We can isolate these reports for various departments. So if one manager is only looking at 2 or 3 departments, we can give them a report on just their department responsibilities. The owner can look at the profitability of each department in QuickBooks. Again, at the detailed job level will be in BuildOps, but at that department level, it's extremely meaningful and helpful to look at our profitability at departments. So one of the things that we always strive for is we offer a lot of different services here at Out of the Box, not just consulting and training, but my goal and our whole company's goal is to help give good, accurate financial information and make sure our users understand the information that they're looking for to help you make informed strategic decisions to help every business grow. So another one of the services we offer, in addition to accounting, payroll migration, training, consulting, software sales, is that we do outsourced bookkeeping functions. So if there's a piece of your bookkeeping you would like to outsource, or some of those month-end close tasks that maybe you don't have the staff to do, we do have expertise in doing that month-end recurring work, such as bank recs, credit card recs, financial statement preparation, accrual, depreciation recording, etc. Additional benefits to outsourcing some of those month-end close tasks and what we call bookkeeping, and sometimes we also call those controllership duties or outsourced controllership, is you'd have a dedicated account manager. You would have a bookkeeping team depending on your needs. Discounts we offer on all Intuit products and services, providing you with monthly, month-end income statement, balance sheet, consistent and accurate recording of expenses, and proper allocation of wages and payroll taxes. Again, in the BuildOps module, we'd want to separate our payroll and our wage expenses by department. Okay, so those direct labor technicians, we would want to record the payroll expenses in terms of which department they're working in. We also do a lot of work on year-end review prior to sending your financials to the CPA for taxes, 1099 preparation, and monthly reviews of your financials. So I work with business owners, controllers, decision makers every single day, doing a lot of talking about their businesses. A lot of the questions I ask them is, are your financial statements accurate? And you would be surprised at what I hear. So usually people know whether they're accurate or not, and is the data meaningful? Meaning, is it in reports that owners and decision makers can use quickly and get answers to questions? Okay. If it's not accurate and if it's not meaningful, we can help. We do additional services on accounting cleanup. So if you have a accounting file that has data in it, but it is not accurate and account balances are wrong and incorrect, we will look at that and assess that and do a project on cleaning up. It could be short and it could be longer in terms of the extent of cleanup that's needed. Again, I mentioned we do monthly outsourced bookkeeping and accounting. QuickBooks setup and data migration. Again, one of the things I talked about today with BuildOps clients, the importance of the correct setup in QuickBooks to receive the data that's coming from BuildOps to give you accurate reporting in your accounting file. Again, training and consulting after your implementation with BuildOps and QuickBooks is also a big service that we provide. Okay, and anytime now, Jeanette, I think we're at the question and answer.
We are.
phase.
Apologies. I didn't mean to speed you.
No worries. She moves me along because I could
misclick.
talk for hours.
That was a misclick. We do have a question here. So what are some examples of things that commonly go wrong during a BuildOps integration that lead to inaccurate data in QuickBooks?
I could probably answer that.
Okay.
One of the things I had mentioned to Scott, I think on occasion, I will come across a BuildOps client who has not worked with us in terms of getting their file ready before they start integrating with BuildOps. The importance of the key fields, like those departments talking to each other, mapping to each other, so that the department in BuildOps is mapping and populating the department in QuickBooks. Because if they're not mapped, the data isn't going to come over to QuickBooks. So right away, when I do my first consultation with a BuildOps prospective client or somebody that's already working with BuildOps, that's one of the things I talk to them about. Our accounting migration team already knows how BuildOps works in terms of their items in our field in QuickBooks, which is called the class field. So we know how BuildOps data integrates into QuickBooks. For instance, inventory. If you've got inventory in multiple locations, those locations will be set up in BuildOps. We've got to have those exact locations set up in the inventory sites. So many different data points. We're used to working with BuildOps clients, their integration, and we communicate back and forth with each other all the time on questions.
Excellent. Scott, anything to add? I wanted to give you a chance to hop in here too.
No, I don't think so. I think Mary's probably a little bit closer to the implementation process than I am on a technical level. So, yeah.
That makes sense. I had my own question. We don't have any in the hopper. I'll give people a few minutes here to enter any last questions they'd like to ask. But so let's say we've got a client, they do a discovery call today, they're ready to sign and ready to go. How long does it normally take to go live?
So Scott, why don't you answer that on the BuildOps side? Because I don't want to speak for you.
Sure. Yeah. It's a really subjective answer. The kind of typical implementation time frame is about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, but that is entirely dependent on you know, the customer themselves. They can move faster than that, they can move slower than that. It's really dependent on how much time they can peel away each day. I mean, on top of the implementation process, you're also still managing a full-time job. So we're very, you know, aware of that and work around your schedule to make it as easy and seamless as possible. So, yeah.
And one of the things on our side, so when we first start talking to a BuildOps client who's already signed up with BuildOps or a prospective client, we kind of talk about those timing goals, Jeanette, in terms of when are they going to work with BuildOps? What is BuildOps timeframe? And then we work our migration around that. And usually, you know, my whole mantra is planning, planning, planning. And it is a lot of work and it is a lot of stress to move to a different system. But again, we will accommodate. Typically, BuildOps kind of leads that kind of that plan. When we know when BuildOps is ready and the client has all the data loaded into BuildOps, we're going to work backward and do the accounting migration so we can be ready to meet that go live date.
Got it. All right, well, thank you. It looks like those are all the questions that we have. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Scott, for your time and for your expertise. If anybody of you are interested in a BuildOps or QuickBooks demo, please feel free to reach out by way of the contact info on the screen, hello@outoftheboxtechnology.com, and we can get you set up with a test drive. Oh, we just had one more question come in, so I'm going to stop. If we are ready to go live now, does Out of the Box have availability now to help?
I think, yes, contact us and I think we can make it happen. Yeah.
100%.
They're pretty, we got a lot of technicians who we can juggle a few things, and we'll put that at the head of the list. So I would say, please reach out and we'll kind of look at that immediately and fast forward that.
Yep. All right, well, thanks again, everybody. As a reminder, this recording will be shared with you later this afternoon. Happy to give you 20 minutes back in your day. And thanks for joining.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.